more thing. I do not like that. Let's see. That ain't cool. Welcome. What's going on? I just left my driveway. And my brakes are starting to feel a little spongy like right now. I am in Indiana. I'm actually running off of cell phone towers and I'm out in the country, so I might not keep my signal. I had a couple of people ask me to go live today, so I figured the only time I could do it was while I'm driving. Where are you coming? Where are you from? Where are you from? Hey, what's going on? Howard County. Yeah. Feed 'em! Let's celebrate Feed 'em! Oh, hold on. I forgot the fan is blowing on this thing. Oh, and I got to set the chat. Man, I'm just like, as soon as I got in the truck, I started the live stream and I started driving. And immediately I go to hit my brakes at the end of my driveway and it was kind of spongy. I'm like, oh, fuck. So that kind of took my attention away from setting the live stream up. Oh, well. So my brakes are working. They're just a little softer than ever before. I haven't driven this. This is my Enclave. I haven't driven it in probably 2 weeks. Can't say I have there, Eric. Yo, hi, I'm Nigerian Prince. Yeah, Yeah, and I'm not even gonna read the whole thing. Just after that first line, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Nigerian Prince. Oh, fuck. I am totally unprepared. I don't really go to... I usually just go to work and come back home. Stop at the shops or whatever. But I got a buddy of mine that begged me to go to a party today. Is my what? Is my sarcasm? Not at all, dude. Not at all. I appreciate it. Yeah, bark like a dog. I'm sorry, I'm not your personal entertainer is going to do your bidding. I mean, if you want to send me $100, I might consider it, but probably not. I probably won't bark like a dog for money. Uh-oh, we got spammers in the chat already, man. What the fuck? Oh, well. Yeah. I can see where this is going to go. I'm not going to be able to read with all the spam. That's the thing I noticed, like the other night when, for some reason, my live streams have been blowing up. I was doing live streams for like a month, maybe 6 weeks or so, and hardly anyone would trickle in here. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting, maybe it's because people are liking it, they're clicking the like, and it's getting more exposure online. I don't know what the heck, dude, but all of a sudden my chats are flying so fast. Even when I'm sitting down in my living room, I have trouble keeping up with all the chats. But it's pretty cool. I got my email address on my channel. I've had a few people reach out to me from all over the world through the email, which is kind of cool. I like meeting all kinds of different people. Yeah, I got people here that hate me. Yeah, don't fall. I don't know if I ever felt. I don't think I've ever fallen for a scam in my life. I don't think so. I know my mom did one time. Maybe Primerica. That would be one thing that I think maybe a scam that I kind of fell for. Yeah, I didn't really lose much money on it, but it was a life insurance pyramid scheme that Donald Trump was a part of, and I thought that was kind of interesting. Back in like 2008 or 2009, he was a promoter of Primerica. They used him as a model of filthy lucre. That's what he was. He's always been a model. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Yes, amen, Jemai. Thank you for using the King James Version and not those new Bibles that actually have Jesus lying in that verse. See, in that verse, John 3:16, all the new Bibles that say, for God loved the world so much that he gave his one and his only son, that's a lie, because Jesus Christ is not God's one and only son. Jesus Christ is God's only begotten son. That's one of the things that shows that the Jesus of the new Bibles is not the Lord, because he lies. God has many sons. We have a record of in Genesis 6. We have a record of in Job 2, Job 1, Job 2, Job 38, maybe Job 37, and then all through the New Testament. But anyway, yeah. That's just one of the many times they have Jesus lying in the new Bibles. Stay away from those new Bibles. Anyway, Job was a horrible story. Yeah, you know what? God allowed Job to go through some tremendous sufferings, and I gotta tell you, there's not many people in this world that can even relate to him. And it is a blessing that we have his story written down in an eternal record of God's word, so that when we go through times that are very difficult, we can read through Job and say, wow, what a man of faith. But even though, but yeah, Job's story, I love Job. I probably read Job 50 times, and I probably listened to it on Bible on CD or Bible audio for at least that also. Eliud is my favorite character in Job. I kind of like Job's wife too. Anyway, Job was used by God. What point did he prove? There was a lot of wisdom and blessings that came out of Job's horrific experiences. Something a lot of people don't know about Job was he was alive around the time of Abraham. He was in the east. He was likely in like the China region, but he was one of the wealthiest men in the world, and in the land anyway. And he was a man that had the faith of Abraham, the faith of Noah, the faith of Abel. Sorry if I'm not reading the chat. So, okay, which wife? The first or second? Now, to my knowledge, I don't think we have a record of Job having more than one wife. God allowed Satan to spare his first wife. He took all of the children and kept his wife, because his wife was kind of like, working on the side of the devil. And she was like telling him, just curse God and die. It's like, that's not something you'd hear from a woman of God, that's for sure. But God gave unto him double the children that he had after that. And who knows, he may have had another wife. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying that I don't believe Job has a record of him having a second wife. Now, I'm probably going to lose my signal. I'm coming up on a bad area, so it'll be about 10 minutes. If I do lose my signal, it might be about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes till I get on, and I'm not going to be on here for very much longer after that. Oh boy, we got the spammers coming on. Yeah, I can't read the chat, so not much. I mean, I can look down, and when I see blue, it's easier for me to catch it with my eyes and read while I'm driving. I should make, you know what, Howard County, did I put you as a administrative moderator? Or are you a standard moderator? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I make you like an administrative moderator, you might be able to turn other people into moderators. Okay, hold on. Oh. As soon as I go to hit that, bam. I'm going to see if I can do this. Okay. I'm going to remove you as a standard. Now I got to go back to you again while I'm driving. And then I got to put you on as add as a moderator, managing moderator. That's what you are now. You're the very first managing moderator. I have no idea what kind of powers that gives you, but I also know that you're not a man that wants power and you're not going to abuse it. So that's cool. But see if you can make other people moderators. Basically, you kind of know the deal. I'll put somebody a moderator that's talking to here that's cool. Somebody that's vile, I'm not going to censor them, but I'm not going to make them a moderator. You know, but I don't consider, if somebody's telling jokes that are just kind of like silly, vile, disgusting, whatever, I might make them moderator. But if they're being like really, I think you know what I mean by vile. I don't want them moderators. But that'll make it easier for me to, and obviously, I think we talked about this before. Can you make someone a moderator? That's another question. If you can, I don't know. But I don't want to give the wrench to anybody that asks at all, ever. That's like one of my big red flag kind of discernments is if somebody's asking and seeking after it, it's usually for the power that comes with it. And the only reason I give a mod wrench, there's two reasons. There's one, so that they can click on somebody else's profile and check out their channel and network with people. And the other thing is to be able to time someone out in times like this where I'm driving and I can't pay attention to chat, but if somebody else is spamming the chat, it interferes with you guys being able to talk to each other. Or even when I'm at home and I can read chats, it interferes with me being able to read the chat and communicate with people. So spamming is the only thing I want people censored for. I don't want to censor people for the content of their speech. You know, I don't allow my bias to interfere with somebody else's free speech. You know, and that's a lot of times I'll learn from somebody. You know, somebody might come at me with a rebuke, and if you're a moderator, you delete them, and I can't read it. You know, I might need that rebuke. I might need a rebuke. I might need somebody to put me in check. I'm not afraid to receive that either. I'm not one of these fucking people on some kind of a high horse that just believes I got everything right and everything I believe is true, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I mean, one of the things about being deceived is people that are deceived don't know they're deceived because they're deceived. And if you're not willing to accept correction and learn and be educated, you'll never escape deception. And that's one thing I have really have a passion for, is knowing the truth and escaping deception and lies. Anyway, just know I am at work. Okay, no, that's cool. Man, you're working on a double time. Double time. I'm guessing you work in that city that starts with an F because you've been there a few times, like I think after work and before work. But dude, I would love to see some of those videos. You know, even if it's not edited out or nothing or whatever, if you can upload it private, it's just you got my curiosity piqued. That's for sure. I don't know what I'm getting ready. I have a friend of mine that's an attorney that invited me up to this party, and I have no idea what kind of people are there. I don't know if this is going to be a MAGA party. If it is, I'm going to be like, dude, we're not staying long. You know, I don't like to be around people that are just invested into the two-party puppet show because they are so emotional and emotionally led that they can't see the fucking they can't see through all the smoke. It's ridiculous. I got a neighbor, him and I became fairly good friends, and then all of a sudden he got on the Trump train. He was never political. As soon as he got on the Trump train, he like started to hate me for telling him the truth about Donald Trump. And I'm like, yeah, well, can you shout me out? Yep, there you go, man. Phoenix W. Shout out to Phoenix W. Yeah. It's almost like barking like a dog. You didn't even give me money, man. What the fuck? I'm kidding. I don't give a shit. Did my live stream? My live stream hasn't cut out. Interesting. Usually it cuts out where I'm at right now. Boop, done. You see that semi truck driver behind me? He ain't happy that I'm doing 55 in a 55. I'm in a construction zone. Get rid of that spam tech, too simple. You know what? I'll just do it because I can see it now. Alright. And hide user. We don't do the, I don't allow the spams. That's one thing. If I see it, that's kind of, I don't know who all's been spamming them, but that's the only thing I delete people for spam. You know, you want to come on here and say whatever you want, that's fine. You start spamming, you're done. Hi, the kitten lovers. Yeah, I got 2 cats. I love cats. I love kittens. I had, at one time, I've sold probably close to 100 kittens, but at one time, I had 14 kittens at one time, and it was fucking awesome. It was in the middle of my busy season in the fall. I was working long hours. I would come home, and these kittens, I went from cradle till I sent them to a new home. I loved on them every day, and they just got so excited when I came home. I'd have all these little fucking nails clawing up my legs, and then I'd get lay down in bed to go to sleep, and they'd be clawing and fighting at me all night long until like about 2 hours or maybe 3 hours before I had to wake up the next day for work. And so I didn't get any really good solid sleep for a period of about 3 weeks. But it was one of the best memories I think I ever had, just having 14 kittens that would claw at me and play with me and love on me. And then all of a sudden, I would wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to get started for my work day, and all of them would be sleeping around me, snuggled up against me. 14 kittens. I'm telling you, that was freaking great. It was great because they all loved me, and they would press up as hard as they could against me and just kind of tuck me in with their little bodies. And then when I had to get up, I'm waking them all up and kind of picking them up and moving them to get them out of my way. It was fun. Anyway, all that because I saw somebody in there that's a kitten lover. No voice to check, Grandpa. Please check. No voice. Oh, happy. Yeah, free. Yeah, I'm Italian. I'm okay. No voice. Anyway, what we got? Turning the best. I'm looking. Why have you so many cats? Oh, I just have 2 cats. But at the time they were not spayed. And They're indoor outdoor cats, and they go out and they'd start crying, Mo, Mo, and then some cat named Mo would come along and pop them, and then they'd have kittens. And one of the things I really did, I learned a lot about cats and a lot about kittens during that period of time, not only studying but observing them. And one of the things that I found out is kittens, by their very nature, from the very day they are born, they are very defensive and unsocial to anyone except their mother. And I think they can smell. I know they can't hear, and I know they can't see when they're born, but I think they can smell, because when their mom would come, they would move toward their mom. They could smell, and they would just kind of scootle along to get to the nipples. But as soon as I went to touch them, they would open their mouth and they would just let out these little tiny, tiny hisses, like a defense mechanism. And so every time they did that, I made sure I would spend extra time petting them and cuddling them until all their defenses went down, and they were like, wow, this feels really good. This is not a danger. And then every single cat that I ever raised, kitten that I ever raised, ended up loving people. And that's what I liked about it, being able to have these kittens that were just totally 100% socialized. They loved everyone. There was only one kitten out of all 100 that was kind. She was one of the last kittens I ever rehomed too. It's kind of cool, but she wouldn't come anywhere near me, and I did the same thing with her whole time from the day she was born. I kept her with me and I pet her. She had like 2 friends out of maybe 7 kittens that she wanted to spend time with, and she stayed away from all the other kittens, and she stayed away from me, and she was very kind of fearful. But once all the other kittens were rehomed, then she was getting lonely, and then she started cuddling and warming up to me, and then she got socialized, and then I sent her on her way. And people really liked the cats that I raised were much better than any kitten I've ever seen. They didn't have any of the common traits of kittens where they get kind of bitchy or whatever. I had one, I called her Princess Ninja, because she was so beautiful in her eyes and she looked like a princess, but she was the most acrobatic kitten out of all the kittens I ever had. You look like Terry Crews. I don't know who that is, but I look like Scott Wazinski. That's who I am. I'm Scott. I'm not Terry Crews. Opinion on Diddy. Oh, I have the same opinion on Diddy that I have for Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, Joe Biden, David Jeremiah, any of the celebrities and people of great influence in the world. I have the exact same opinion of them. They're bastards, and they're involved in occult societies that practice all sorts of esoteric rituals from ancient pagan religions. And I have no other judgment of them from what I know. From all that I've learned in all of my research and my many years of going beyond the narratives, this world is as the Bible speaks. And Jesus summed it up in a way that even a 4-year-old child can understand. The things that are highly esteemed among men are an abomination unto God. I was in the music industry. You know, that's another story for another time, because I'm actually not too far away from where I'm going and I wouldn't have time to really get into it. But to make a long story short, what brought me to faith in Jesus Christ, to where I became born again, was I was negotiating a contract with Capitol Records in 1998. And at the same time I was negotiating a contract with Capitol Records, Satan was coming to me, negotiating with me for my eternal allegiance and my eternal soul. He wanted me to make a covenant with him, and that scared me to the throne room of God, because I knew that God existed and I knew Jesus Christ was real. but I absolutely did not know him. And at the same time I knew that I did not know God, Satan was making himself known unto me. And that scared me. And that's the same thing Diddy got into. You know, and all these people that are in it, you get to a certain point of influence in this world, and then the God of this world is not going to allow people to get beyond that glass ceiling without a covenant. You know, and so, you know, yeah, that's the long story short. And I'm just so thankful that God is merciful. He forgives sin. He saves. He's returning soon. Yes. And don't believe the pre-tribulation rapture lie. That is a lie that's been presented into the world by agents of the devil. Jesus Christ even said, immediately after the tribulation of those days, then the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light to shine, and the stars from heaven shall fall, and then shall he send his angels with the sound of the trumpet, to gather his elect from the earth unto heaven. And it's interesting though, there's a bunch of stuff I've learned. God's words, and I'm talking King James Bible, those new Bibles are not the words of God. And those pastors, preachers, and liars in the buildings that call themselves churches, they're not God's servants. But God's words are historically accurate. They are scientifically accurate. They are prophetically accurate. And they are literally true. And I know there's a lot of people, hey there, Myra, welcome back. I know that there are people, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, I think I got 2 more exits and then I'm going to be done off of this trip. Yeah. No. If voting changed anything, they wouldn't let you vote. You're not ever going to have a candidate that you can vote for that's going to do your will. Every single candidate they ever present on the ballot is already compromised and controlled 100%. And you know, it's basically a suggestion box. I like that. I think it was James Freeman or Springer that said voting is just a suggestion box. It might be him or somebody else, but that's what it is. It's a slave suggestion box. That's what it is. Because it doesn't matter who gets in power, they'll never give you your money back. They'll never stop taking your money away from your work and your wages, which is what makes people a slave. When they take your wages, the money that you make and the money you earn for the work you put in, when they take that away, that's your master. You are a slave. And they'll never take the chains of slavery off of you. They'll never give you the money back that they've already stolen, and they'll never give you more liberties. They're going to continue to take away your liberties until you are 100% subject to the system, which we're just about there anyway. I agree with Fiona. Be nice. That's important, guys. Oh, okay. I didn't see Fiona, but I know her name is spelled with a Phiona. Her and I chatted a little bit in her comments and in email. She's pretty cool. I didn't see her in here, but Elon, Trump, yeah, Elon's a compromised, controlled asset too. You know, it's been inducted into the societies that they're involved in. It's all part of a show. It keeps people's emotions going. They're not stopping the direction the world is going. Elon Musk is like the fucking poster child for transhumanism. Give it a rest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of tolerance for the bullshit because to me it's so obvious, you know. But that's because I've been out of I don't even like the term matrix because that's a helly weird presentation and perversion of what's really going on. But I have been out of the delusions and deceptions of the mainstream for decades. And so it's really easy for me to see through the bullshit. Okay, I think this is my exit. I don't remember seeing the other one. I must have, because here's my exit. All right, cool. My dog got shot. I hope that's not true. 3 billion, not fuck us. Oh, how can adding 3 billion not fuck us? How about giving back the $47 trillion that the CIA has had missing since the 1990s? Yeah, you'll never see any candidate or office, president or people in Congress or Senate stopping the Federal Reserve. That's going to be the number one thing. If you want somebody that's truly going to do good by the people and not work for the globalists, they'll cut the Federal Reserve, basically crash our economy and bring us back to the gold standard. That's the only way that you will ever know if there is a president or a government that is going to do the will of the people, because that is nothing more than theft from 1913 on. Anyway, but I could go on and on. I just hope this party isn't a fucking MAGA party. I'm going to be like, dude, you guys are a bunch of maggots. Yeah, no, I don't worship any of those fucking Satanists. They're all Satanists. Yeah. Anyway, y'all have a good one. I hope you come out of deception. I hope I come out of any deception I'm in. I'm willing to. I hope you are too. Peace.